We're here today to talk to another industry leader that has steered off the lame, tired path of the status quo. When you book a hotel online, that giant commission goes straight into the pockets of the booking site. And you might get a few points, but it's an old transactional and opaque system. Our guest today is the veteran executive who looked at the massive opaque travel industry and said, we could use those profits to do something better. He's here to talk about disrupting the entire travel booking model by proving that philanthropy is the new loyalty. His company is disrupting the online travel agency space by turning every single hotel deal into a donation for a charity the traveler chooses at no extra cost to the consumer. They found a way to merge maximum traveler reward with maximum social good, fundamentally challenging how online travel agencies make money and build or don't build consumer trust. Please welcome the co-founder of Apogee Travel, John Choat.
Hey, KJ. Good to see you again.
Good to see you again, too.
Yeah,
All right,
that was a
John
kind
Choat.
intro, by the way. Like
I,
a lot of suggests, I'm not sure industry leader, but definitely trying to be one.
okay. Well, I think anybody that's tackling things that have been so opaque that are not for the greatest good for the consumers or the greatest good for a large population is a leader.
Oh, appreciate it.
And so there you go. I think you are an industry leader. I want to find out though, our audience loves I want to get into this online travel thing because this is a very interesting industry, very interesting, right? Um, because people don't really know what's happening. They don't really know what's going on. There's almost like this fear of missing out, but then they realize, wait a minute, I don't know if I'm saving that much money, right? But before we get into that, our audience always loves to hear from people like you that are disrupting the status quo. What's driven you towards that kind of innovation or disruption in your life?
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, I guess the first thing is that I'm not a very good rule follower just by way of background. I mean, you can ask I mean, obviously there's certain by way of background, in the military and in the SEAL teams and everything, like there's kind of a framework of rules that you have to follow, but I mean, nobody would wag their finger at me and say, boy, John would make like a great compliance officer or something like that. I guess that there's that piece, but I guess to frame it like back to what you talked about, like where this actually came from it's really captured in the founder's story. And where this materialized from, just briefly, is uh, so I started a charity, well, co-founded a charity to help severely wounded veterans.
Mm,
And we were going to adopt a certain number of them kind of through their life, right? To kind of, so it wasn't just a one, iteration type of a solution for them, right? Help them find a job, et cetera, et cetera. This one individual wanted to be involved in NASCAR, this veteran was. So we ended up connecting him with a NASCAR race team. The very first iteration that he was going to work with this race team was at the Las Vegas Cup Series that NASCAR holds out there every year. I didn't know this at the time how insanely expensive hotel rooms are like during NASCAR race week. Like
right.
it it was epically insane. It was like pick whatever the most roach infested hotel room is that you wanted, and it was like $1,000 a night or something.
No.
It was insane. So at that time, I was a client of ours in a different company. It was the billionaire kind of Mr. Las Vegas, Steve Wynn himself. And Mr. Wynn is an exceptionally strong supporter of veterans causes and animals. Those are like his two things.
Yeah, his two
Yeah,
things.
like well, his animal love is without compare. Like,
Wow.
yeah, and so I went to him and I did something I'd never asked a client of mine before, which was for a favor. And I asked him, "Is there any chance we're such a small charity that you might be able to, this veteran for this race week might be able to stay here in your hotel?" And Steve immediately he had said, "Absolutely no problem. I'm happy to do it." And then he asked me a question. He said, "Is your charity a 501(c)(3)?" Right, which is the formal designation
Right.
for by the IRS. And I said, "It absolutely is." And so he called up his executive assistant. and he allocated one of the apartments, which is, there's probably 10 of them or so, like, and these are the ones that go for, $5,000 a night during the week, $20,000 a night on the weekends, etc.
Yeah.
And
And a
I should,
100,000 a NASCAR weekend, right?
yeah, it was insane. And I
Yeah.
should have just graciously been like, thank you, and left. But, as I was kind of going out the door, I turned, I said, hey, boss, I just have a quick question for you. Are you getting a benefit out of this? And I still remember to this day, he verbatim said, John, we're the fifth largest hotel in the world, 4,750 rooms. It is not likely that room is going to be occupied tonight or even next week during race week. But because you're a 501c3, I can also get the full fair market value tax deduction of the room. And
Wow.
and I know. And so, I mean, there's probably a reason why he's a billionaire, And
Completely.
and so that was when the light bulb went off in my mind, and I had said, okay, that's really interesting. So truth be told, I bolted to my own room there, and I literally opened up and Googled what is the occupancy rate of hotels in the United States. And I still remember the value. It hasn't even changed to this very year. It was 62.4%. Now, there's times when hotels are 100% occupied and times when they're
But
30%
averages
occupied.
out about 62%.
That's
Is that still
system-wide.
today?
Still to this very, I mean, it dropped down below 50% during COVID, right?
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But even system wide right now, it's still maintaining right around 62% is what
Wow.
it is, right? And then you'll have locations like New York City that will maintain, 80% or above year round. But either way, when you look at that like as a business operator and owner, that's a huge amount of perishable inventory, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that room is either filled or it's not.
Hmm.
And it resets on an 18-hour clock. If it's not filled in there, you just lost the revenue and you never get to potentially grab
Why
that
an
back.
18-hour clock?
Well, because you have to get checkout and then you got to
Oh,
get the
yeah,
room
yeah, yeah.
cleaned.
I gotcha.
Yep, right.
Yeah.
And so so as I started kind of delving down further into the industry pieces, I start to become friends with that are hotel owners and operators, and they're the ones that conveyed and said, yeah, our underlying thesis, our focus is to just get heads in beds. That is exactly what we operate on.
That is really very true. Yes,
Yep.
absolutely. And those heads and beds fuel the entire community, right? With the heads and beds taxes
Abs-
and everything else
Food
that,
and beverage, like
yeah,
transportation that's in there. I mean, the downstream effect is massive. Well,
massive.
then what we learned when you're operating on this, I mean, look, and obviously I'm a huge fan of the hospitality space, but we have to be able to speak frankly, okay? I
Yeah.
mean, there is not a huge difference between like a three-star Hilton property and a three-star Marriott property. I mean, there's just
Hmm.
not. Like it's the same bed, same TV size, same whatever else it is. So it's a really, really commoditized environment. All right.
Very much so.
Yeah. And what we don't know, or what I then became the next realization was the OTAs, the online travel
Right.
agencies.
Yeah. And, I was just thinking about that. I'm glad you said that because I was thinking about these online travel agencies, the OTAs. They've really capitalized on the commoditized aspect of
Yeah,
the hotels now. Because when you're
absolutely.
a commodity, all you're doing is competing on price.
Yep.
How painful is that?
Right. It's the red ocean, right? It's a race to the bottom.
Right.
And it's difficult. And look, the OTAs are brilliant and they're awesome at what they did, particularly in this environment where people are increasingly not brand loyal. Like it's not like my parents were, oh, we must stay at a Hilton or something of that sort. Like millennials, Gen Z, younger Gen X, like they don't really care. Like they're looking for, is it close to what I need to be at, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And so what happened with the online travel agencies is that, to this point, if I
When
if I
did
go
they
to,
come into the space, by the way?
I'm sorry,
When did OTAs come into the space, by the way?
1996 was when Expedia, well, what became of it, not really at the start of the internet. And look, and they were a great distribution channel for hotels. All right. Because
So when
if you're
people,
the,
so our audience, they may
yeah,
not know of all the different OTAs, but I'm glad you mentioned one because they're probably thinking OTAs, Expedia, what
well,
hotel?
I'll unpack that for you here in just a moment.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, good. Good.
Yeah.
So they came
Mm.
around 1996.
Yeah, first ones, and then 1980 with Priceline and et cetera, et cetera. And their
Okay.
whole point was great. And so they said, hey, if you're the Marriott in Chicago, right? Your advertising bandwidth is just pretty limited. You know, they're in Chicago or through whatever the brand is. We have a different website that allows, like globally, for people to say, hey, I'm traveling to Chicago and we can show you there. And hotels, they said, this is fantastic. It's just another distribution channel. And at that time, the commission rate that OTAs were charging hotels was about 7%,
Hmm.
right? Since
And so the
9/11,
OTAs were coming to them and saying, "Hey, what were they saying? What were they doing? How are they arranging this
it was
with
just another distribution channel. Like
like, hey, we're going to help distribute like your
your
products so that people
availability.
can, yeah, your availability. So,
Yeah,
and we're going to take 7% of the commission."
yep, absolutely.
And and how did they convince hotels to do this? Because they had a big distribution channel. They
Yeah,
had
because it's 1998, it's the tech bubble, it's the
it's
internet's new.
new.
Yeah, we're the new like
And
travel
they're like, this is
agency.
disruptive. Hell yeah, you can distribute my
Absolutely.
availability.
And
Okay.
truth be told, if I was a hotelier too, it doesn't matter where it was, I would say I'll gladly pay you 7%.
Yeah.
That's cost is nothing for a customer acquisition cost.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's $100 room and I'll pay you $8 of it as
Yeah.
opposed to having like $0.
Right.
Absolutely made sense.
Yeah.
So what happened though, um, and hoteliers will tell you this en masse was 9/11, notwithstanding just the intrinsic tragedy that that represents, right? Obviously, travel was concerned, right? I mean, plane flights were frozen, like people are
I
like, should I
remember I
move?
traveled the day after
Did you
9/11.
really?
I did.
Ugh. I
Yeah.
didn't. Well, no, I traveled 4 days later. My SEAL platoon got sent to the Middle East.
Ah,
but
wow.
but
Wow.
the but the so what happened is it was at that point when hotels were like, great, you can even have more rooms to distribute, like anything we can do to expand our reach. And then what happened is the OTAs, they started getting leverage, and
Hmm.
most folks aren't aware of this. Like
Can
I
I
guess
just
the
ask a very stupid question? But I just want to
yeah,
make sure I'm connecting the dots here. Because of 9/11, because travel like suffered or was going to suffer, the hoteliers were like, we've got to expand our reach even more. And
right.
so more hoteliers got on the bandwagon. Is that right? Okay, I'm
Absolutely.
tracking. Okay,
Yep,
just wanted to
they
make
were just
sure.
like, hey, look, anything we can do, that there is an awareness that we have room availability, that there's a
Right,
property here.
right.
Anything that we can do to let you know. And
Yeah,
so, Expedia, Priceline, Kai, all of them just started
kayak,
gobbling this up.
whatever. So
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
So they're like, oh, now we have leverage. They want us.
Well, so not only did they have leverage, then you get the very first sticking point. And the very first sticking point is that, if we play this example, say it's the KJ Hotel and I'm one of the online travel agencies.
Yeah,
Well, all of a sudden I'm starting to see, I'm getting a lot of traction. People aren't going to whatever your brand.com is, they're coming to my website and they're checking out things. And then I start getting cute and I start offering slightly lower dollars. So if you're listing the hotel at $100 a night, I start listing it at $95. Well, naturally, who are people going to go to? They're going to come to
right.
me. So the hotels ended up coming back and saying, okay, enough of this. Time out. We need to establish a price parity arrangement. So
Mm,
you as the hotel owner, and hotel owners were smart to do this, they said, look, we are the price setters. We will allow you to distribute, all right, on your channels, but we are the ones that set what the price is, and you cannot
of course.
allow a different lower price.
Yeah, you can't undercut it.
No, and then the online travel agencies came back and they said, "Sounds good, we get it, but here's the deal: we want a most favored nation clause, which means that you will never allow anyone else or you won't offer anyone else a lower price than what we are allowed to see. So,
Wow.
so you get this price parity, and that is what people do not understand. And there's a value that's associated with this, right?
So, okay, wait a minute. The wheels are ticking here.
Yeah.
So they say, okay, fine, we get it. But you can't offer anybody anything lower than us. So does that mean every OTA really offers the same price?
So this right here, allow me a moment to expose the illusion.
Okay.
And one of our things is right here. And I'm not being a naysayer. All I'm doing is I'm just saying this is blanket the way the system exists. Right, wrong, otherwise, this is just objective statement of fact. Price has become meaningless, all right? And the whole price parity I just talked about gives the illusion of choice. It is the single biggest misconception in travel is that somehow one is comparison shopping, and they're not. All right. And so my first point on this, Expedia and Booking.com, they control over 90% of all of the online travel agencies.
Get out.
Hotels.com, Priceline, Orbitz, Travelocity, et cetera, et cetera. So when somebody is opening up 7 different tabs and is looking at
Shut the
different things,
door.
they're all the same. All right. If you're comparison shopping travel sites, you're mostly just comparing the same price that's wrapped in different disguises, right?
How does that happen? That's like a
Well,
monopoly.
but it is a mono. They actually call it a duopoly, right? Right, which is between Expedia and Booking. And here's the
Holy
challenge I
cow.
have for you or any of the listeners. You can pick any hotel that you want anywhere in the United States, and the likelihood that you'll see the exact same total price across channels is greater than 95%. And
Damn.
when you do see a variation, it will come from cute little games that are played, like showing a nightly rate without some fee, with some fee that's, attached at checkout, right? And I mean,
Wow.
price is the easiest number in the world to manipulate. Like value is the hardest. And guess which one the industry tries to show you?
Of course they show you the price.
Yeah. I mean, and also the so-called, cheapest price is almost also always the worst option. Because it's the cheaper rate, it's always signals worth value mechanics. Like,
Yeah.
okay, you get fewer no brand rewards points, it's prepaid or it's non-refundable, or like
Right.
the dreaded, hey, you get a room assigned at check-in, and you're like, this is awesome. Now I'm right next to the HVAC system and the ice machine and the public bathroom or something like that,
Right.
right?
You know, I don't know how many percentage of people use OTAs compared to those that don't. I mean, I've had my own experience with them now, so I just go directly to the hotel. Like, absolutely will not go to OTAs
Sure.
because I've had one bad experience and that's enough, right?
Yeah. Abs
Um,
it
but
is.
most people think they're really comparison shopping. What a scam. I don't know. Is that a scam? It's
I
an
don't
illusion. It's an
Well,
illusion.
it's an illusion.
It's
It's
an
not a
illusion.
scam. It's,
Yeah.
it's and that's very important. And look, these are highly valuable, very, very intelligently driven organizations. But it comes
Yeah.
back to what you're talking about. And by the way, just as a nuance on what you brought up right there, please make no mistake. And the business models, it's designed and run and manufactured by truly genius-like persons.
Of
But
course.
but the
You have to
brands that
admire that.
but the brands that you're talking about,
Yeah.
Hilton, Marriott, et cetera, they're not they're not hotel companies. Do you know
Right.
that Hilton owns exactly 0 properties in the United States?
I only know that because you told me that before, but I did not know that. It was shocking.
Marriott, out of their 7,700 plus properties, I think that they have a partial interest in 13 of them in the United
No
States.
way.
This is what they call their they're franchisers.
Yeah.
And so they are constructively online travel agencies themselves. The only difference between them is that if somebody's looking to travel to Miami or New York, doesn't matter where it is, they want you to just go to their website and you'll see the 40 properties they have right there.
Right.
Whereas if you go to Expedia, you'll see the 300 properties that are available.
Right. And you think you're getting more of a choice. Wow, what an illusion. We're in an age of like transparency today, and I say that in the sense that people are getting pissed off at things not being transparent, right?
Boy.
It really is something. I mean, um, so I
I
go that I go, well, what the hell is the solution?
well, I think it's really important to hit on what you just talked about there because there's
Yeah.
actually like a cultural like components to it, right?
Yes.
I mean, the funny thing is people think travel is confusing or because it's complicated. It's not, right? I mean, travel is confusing because it behaves exactly like every other system, like in person's lives where they've lost transparency, right?
Right.
Finance hides fees, social platforms hide truths, influencers hide incentives. They don't,
PBMs hide prescription
yeah,
medicine costs. I mean, like, let's go for
and,
that, right?
and travel hides value. And honestly, I'm not here to manufacture outrage. I'm just translating the cultural mood right now because the public is already disillusioned. Fake news, is that generated by AI? I don't know what to believe, et cetera. We're just shining light on the mechanics, right?
Yeah.
And,
I
and,
think
and
it's
the
great.
yeah, and,
I
and
think
it
it's
goes back to the
absolutely great.
biggest misconception is within travel that people believe that they are somehow comparison shopping, and they're not. Travel is not an outlier. It's just a perfect microcosm of kind of the broader disillusionment cycle. I mean,
You're so
so,
right.
complexity is rarely accidental. In travel, it's also rarely beneficial to the
Oh my
consumer.
gosh. Spoken like a true seal. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So what
like,
is the solution? And what is
well,
Apogee Travel?
Well, it really comes back down to what I cannot overstate how important the word value is on all of this. Okay. So,
Yeah, can you define that a little bit more? Because it seems so nebulous.
absolutely. So, and the kind of the phrase or that we've coined or term is value blindness. Okay.
Value blindness.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's the hidden cost of focusing on one manipulated number. So, look, Warren Buffett famously said, price is what you pay, value is what you get.
Right.
All
Okay.
right. Value blindness is what happens when an industry trains you to obsess over kind of one single number that's easy to manipulate.
Okay.
That's price. All right. And it
Okay.
hides everything else that determines your actual value. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Right.
Huh.
Value blindness is when the industry trains you to stare at the wrong metric. And so some people will say, well, buyer beware. Okay, but the system hides value mechanics. Like you can't
Can you give
make.
me an example? Give me some mass to what this,
Sure, I'll give you a
yeah.
perfect example right now. All right. So
Okay.
Hilton recently, and by the way, I'm a huge Hilton fan, just for what
Me
it's
too.
worth. But
I'm a huge Marriott fan too. So,
got it. So when Hilton just announced day before yesterday, it announced it's brand new. In fact, I need to look at actually the website right here so I can get the actual terminology correct. This was what I came across.
okay.
Coming January 1st, you're gonna want to stay for this. You
Okay.
asked, we listened, introducing a faster path to gold and diamond and our most exclusive tier yet, Diamond Reserve. All right. So it
Okay.
is the announcement of their new revamped Hilton H Honors program. All right. Now
Okay.
that's great. But here's the problem. It's that they've actually reduced the real world point value for all the rest of us. It's devaluation disguised as an enhancement. And here's my points.
Okay.
There are now fewer nights that you need to stay to achieve gold and diamond status. And
Okay.
then they've also introduced a new top tier. It's no longer diamond, it's now called Diamond Reserve. Sounds good, right? Okay,
Sounds good.
but here's the problem.
But I'm like,
When
why are
you
they changing it?
when you create a new tier, you've now devalued the tiers beneath it. Gold becomes the new silver,
True.
silver becomes the new member, or whatever
It's
else it
true.
is. All right.
It reminds me
And
of the Inc. 5000 and the Inc. 500. I don't know. Remember Inc. 500 was so prestigious, and then they came out with the Inc.
yeah,
5000
and soon it'll be the Inc. 10,000. And right, it becomes ridiculous. And
Yes.
then here's the real kicker. As you go through it, when people say, oh, well, it takes me fewer nights now to get to gold status. Okay, but first of all, the gold status is no longer the old gold status. It's now the
Right.
new silver. And number two, you've also devalued it because now so many more people are able to make gold status. So
So
your
why did they
little
do it?
well, why did they do it? Because they have to. This is the issue. It's the reason why all loyalty programs, except ours, are what is the denomination? Points.
Right.
Oh, you get so many leprechaun points. You get so many carrot points or whatever else it is. Do you
I
know
never
why
even know what my points mean.
I don't, but
I
nobody
guess being
does.
extra night earned extra nights, or I don't know. Yeah.
Because if they have to give it to you in cash, that is a monetary value that you know exactly what it is.
Right.
Nobody gives you cash.
Exactly.
It's in points, and I can devalue a point any way that I want within the terms and conditions. What you could get by redeeming points at Hilton, Marriott, Intercontinental, no matter what it was, in 2018, you're like, oh, it cost me, these are fictitious numbers, 25,000 points to get a free night. It's now like 70,000 points to get a free night. Do you have
Oh,
any
I know. It's
idea?
ridiculous.
Oh yeah, it's and then what Hilton did is that buried way down in the announcements piece. We have to scroll down on their new thing. It was like, as we introduce these enhancements, we're making some adjustments. It's like in font size 6, you know what I mean? So they have reduced the accrual value by anywhere from 33 to 50% of your points earning at two different brands, Homewood and at Spark. So you used to get, 10 points for every dollar spent at those locations. You now get 5 points for every dollar spent. That is
Okay.
exactly the kind of opacity layer that we're talking about. It creates this perceived value at the top, but it devalues everything beneath.
And is it so I'm learning so much here. And so just like bear with me here because we're
Sure.
talking about OTAs, but you're also talking about Hilton and Marriott and these others like they don't even know their own their hotels anymore. They're OTAs too,
Yeah.
sort of, right?
Yep. Yep.
Is the whole point system all part? I mean, how does this connect?
So the point system is all part, and that I like the term that you use, system. It is designed. It's not maliciously designed,
Yeah.
but it's like casinos in Las Vegas.
Okay.
Those are purposely designed if you're trying to find the exit. They make it very difficult to find the exit because they want to keep you inside.
Right.
Loyalty programs by design are designed to keep one loyal, to keep you inside. I
Right.
don't want you to look at another brand, at another location. And that's the reason why also their denominations or points, they're not rewards that are tangible, they're just store credit.
Right.
You have to come back and buy here or come back and do here, whatever else it is. All right. So
Right.
they're not evil, they're not bad. But when it comes back to kind of that phrase that I coined as far as like value blindness,
Yeah.
we believe that our greatest, our unique value proposition, and one is to merely to increase the the aperture, the lens through which people can see actual true value. Uh,
Mm.
by so that they understand. Because if you think that this property, we had this run the other day. There were two Marriott branded properties in Charlotte. It was a 2 night stay. I think there was a 23-cent differential between the two properties. That's what it was. Now I
That was
understand
it.
that somewhere somebody way up the chain set that this is the price in this
Right.
location at this time. So it was like $350.59 and $350.28 or something. All right. You would never look. The only difference is that when you chose one over the other, one had an accrual of like the equivalent of $28 worth of Marriott Bonvoy points, and the other one had an accrual of like $16 worth of Marriott Bonvoy points
Oh, wow.
because they have different accruals by different sub brands and et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So part and parcel of us is to be able to say, hey, look, and it's actually I'm trying to pull in my notes right here. Like this is we're not rebuilding travel. Well, we've just rebuilt the value layer underneath it. All right.
Okay.
Because in early 2026, we're launching our patent pending what's called Value Lens Overlay, which will quantify every dollar of hidden value right on the screen so people don't have to pull open 7 tabs or try to figure out what it is. First of all, the price is the price. We're going to show you what the added value is that you get from cash back, what the added value is that you get from the actual points that you will accrue, et cetera, et cetera. But the key piece that we think is also the unique value proposition because when we're talking about brand rewards points,
Right.
We're the only online travel agency where you can accrue your brand rewards points.
So you are an OTA.
It is an OTA. We
You are
are.
an OTA,
Yep.
but so let me make sure I get this. You're an OTA. You People can go and they can book through you guys,
Yep.
right? They can use their points, right?
They can accrue their points. You can't redeem your points. That you have to do like a thing. So if you go to Expedia, for an example, and you stay at a Marriott hotel,
Yeah,
you do not get Marriott Bonvoy points.
right.
Just don't. We are the only OTA where you can get your Marriott Bonvoy points.
That's fantastic. But where does the travel, I mean the
Charity.
donations come in, the
So
charities come in?
that's the big piece, and it is the most overlooked value mechanic in travel. So to back it up, every charity, first of all, there are just about 1.1 million charities in the United States. So amazing amount, right? And,
Yeah.
and they range from one end of the spectrum from, United Way, which is massive, all the way down to, save the three-legged ferret of Tampa, Florida, or whatever it might
Mm-hmm.
be. Okay. But every charity, no matter who they are, they have two missions: to serve their underlying cause and then to raise funds that enable them to actually service their underlying cause. But if you triage those, the harder and the more essential mission is actually the fundraising, because without it, you don't get to serve
Absolutely.
what you're doing.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big problem. I mean, they're constantly like
If you're not servicing,
underserved. Yeah, constantly needing to
like, so what we have done back all the way to the Steve Wynn piece is we've created a recurring fundraising engine that is based entirely on something that consumers already do, and that's book hotels. So every transaction that comes through Apogee has one, a charitable donation associated with it. And it's not like a roundup feature of, 18 cents. It's
right.
10% of each commission at least goes to any charity that the consumer themselves
Wait,
selects.
out of that 1.1 million.
We tie
And
right
what percentage?
10% of our commission, like, it goes to any charity that's selected.
Wow.
And then on top of that, and this is the kicker for all of our partner hotels. So we list all 60,000 plus hotels that are in the United States. But every day we have new partner hotels that come on board with us and they get a reduced commission rate. If it is a stay that is 2 nights or longer,
Mm-hmm.
the entire value of the second night goes to any charity that is selected,
Damn.
right? So, and so not only do consumers get more value and power by selecting exactly what charity they want to help, right? And this is the reality of speaking bluntly. Where does this come? This isn't just a feature that's cute, right? Like, to try to entice consumers, hey, come and use Apogee instead. We actually reach a lot more people through the charity networks at a fraction of our customer acquisition cost. I mean,
Hmm.
so there's huge upside for Apogee. And that is exactly why we signed a 4-year contract with St. Jude, the third largest charity in the United States, in June of this year, because they immediately understood it at the system level value. It does not require them, it doesn't cost them anything to reach out to their millions of supporters and people and say, hey, next time you're booking through a hotel room, just use Apogee Travel. Contrary to what you've been led to believe, it's the same price as virtually everywhere. Two, you get your brand rewards points, which you don't get anywhere else. Three, a part of your stay, without paying a penny more, goes to us, the charity that's coming through. And four, actually, Apogee has its own internal rewards program, which, unlike everyone else, is actually cash back. You get 1 to 2% cash back on every stay. So it goes right to a prepaid, a digital credit card. You can go to
No
Starbucks
way.
or wherever it is that you want. So
No way. Well, congratulations on St. Jude. So,
yeah,
does that mean other major charities can come up to you and sign up and
we have charities that reach out to us now every day, and St. Jude, and God bless them for what they do, but also, for taking a leap of faith on us. I mean, we have Scott Hamilton's CARES Foundation, Regiment Gaming Military Warrior Support Foundation. We've got dozens of youth sports
that's
organizations
incredible.
nationwide. I mean, every kid's
That's incredible.
Soccer.
I mean, I know how many listeners we have that are on boards of major charities,
Mm.
passionate about the charities that they're in, right?
Well,
And
right.
would do nothing more than love to support a disruptor that is going to help them support their biggest cause.
Well, right, and that's it, and it brings up a funny piece that has been. It shows you kind of societally speaking, like how jaded we've become because the
Hmm.
natural first initial piece is kind of like this sounds too good to be true, or what's the angle, right? And
Right,
it's the answer is there is no angle. Like we are charging hotels and specifically our partners much less than the commissions that they are being charged by everyone else,
yeah,
sometimes greater than 50%. Number two, we are giving people, like, we are not clocking anything. And that's another differential between the online travel agencies. We're not, if a hotel's cancellation policy is 2 nights before the stay starts, we're not doing these cute games where we add on like an extra night or two. You know what I mean? Like
right.
whatever the cancellation policy is whatever the hotel is. If you need to change something, like the interface is literally between you and the hotel, not like problems you run into before with previous OTAs. So most people think charity is emotional. In our model, it's structural.
Wow.
But travel's the largest overlooked fundraising engine in the world. We just plugged it in.
Damn. Good job, John Choat. Good
Yeah.
job. Good job to you and your co-founder. That's
Well,
like
it's the team, believe
amazing.
me.
Okay, so just a little aside, like what do you do in your copious free time? Do you have any crazy, do you have any?
No, not really. I got a teenage daughter and a 13-year-old teenage son too that
Oh,
just turned.
fun.
So between that and our Pomsky, like our dog Cobalt, who's awesome and sleeping right behind me,
Nice.
it's really more just trying to put out fires. But that's no different than what everybody else is contending with.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what you've been doing all your life, right?
Sure, a little
And you
bit.
absolutely love that and thrive on that.
I mean, it's no different than what you do. It's the
Yep,
brilliance of
it's
your.
true. We love putting out fires, don't we?
I
Yes.
mean, you got people that run to the fires, there's people that don't. And look, it's again, it's a commoditized and a transactional industry that we focused in right now. But people, these are not insignificant amounts of money that they spend when they book a hotel room.
Yeah.
We just wanted to increase, to remove the blinders and just say, we are going to show you what the actual, we don't care what brand hotel you stay at. We don't care like where you're going. We're not going to rack and stack and show you this hotel because they paid us money to be spotlighted first. You're traveling to location X. These are all the hotels that are available. You get your rewards points, you get cash back, and you get to designate which
And you
charity
get to
exactly.
fund your charity. That is badass. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell people how to get a hold of you.
So it's very simple. We're on apogeetravel.com, APOGEE travel.com, or you can download us on either the iPhone like App Store or on Android. It's just look for Apogee Travel, and that's where we're at. We'd love it if you are associated with a charity, please reach out to us. All the contact information is on either location. We'd love to have a discussion with you. There's no contract. We're not trying to bind anybody up with anything. It's very simple. Help us help you. And the more that you promote us to your founders and or your donors and your supporters and stuff, the more likely it is that you're going to get more things. I mean, we just wrote a check for, $11,000 to, just for this year to one particular charity, that had promoted us, every couple of weeks. And it's just natural travel that was materializing.
Incredible. Incredible. Wow, I can't wait to get those numbers so much bigger. I love what you're doing. That's
Yeah,
great.
it's
Okay,
fantastic.
food for thought. Before we end off today, what do you want our listeners to walk away with?
I think that probably the best thing to walk away with is that, I'd already made the point before. We're not manufacturing outrage, right? We're in a world where people, they're seeking authenticity. They're seeking what is really behind the curtain, right? And so we don't know. Again, I go back to Is it fake news? Is this AI generated? Is that person really a pundit? Is what I'm referencing real? And it gets worse and worse every day, right? The way that the system is within travel right now, it's not designed to cause harm. It's just designed to remain opaque because that's the system model. You don't know what your points are worth. You don't realize that you're not really price comparison shopping. Like it's all the same folks. And do people really care that there's no difference, that there's a duopoly between Coke and Pepsi? No. I don't know. I don't know anybody that really, I mean, maybe if you're employed by Coke or Pepsi, but like they don't care. But people get upset when they're not told, just tell me what the real
Tell me the
value is that I'm
truth,
getting on
right?
this. Yeah. And so that's what we're doing is just with this, AI enabled with our value lens overlay. We're just going to tell you that's just what the value is that you're getting in the aggregate. It takes into account, parking, or is it paid for? Is it a free breakfast? What are your point values worth? So that you can, back to Warren Buffett, you're not just looking at price. You're looking at like the value is what you get, and what that is. And so, we're just trying to one stem at a time just to improve the experience for consumers on this and do a whole heck of a lot of good along the way because I could go start another charity right now and I'd be out there grinding and looking for money and then trying to help whatever the underlying cause is and everything. I can do this at a much, much larger scale by helping consumers, helping themselves. And truth be told, there's really only one entity that loses out on this, and that's the IRS. And I don't think anybody's like wringing their hands over the IRS, like getting
Okay,
shorted
good.
on charitable
Rah
donations.
rah, sis boom bah. That's awesome.
Right.
Okay, that's a wrap, everyone.